Good morning, Facebook family. Well, I purposely stayed out of camera so you could read my background because my big head is taking up the space. So it is week three. It is week three, and I am excited to be in week three because I did not think I could do this journey, but here I am doing this journey and having a ball doing this journey. I want to give a happy birthday shout out to Pastor Lewis. Have a happy birthday. This was not the day that you were supposed to see, so guess what? You see it, so enjoy your day. Whatever you do, make it big, go big, go big. Okay. Last week I said that I paused because of what has transpired since I have decided to do this week episode. And it's like two prominent actor and actress lost their child to what we're going to talk about today. And I'm just like, I, I'm just, that's it. But that's what we're going to talk about today. Today, the topic is suicide. But before we get into that, I want to do my last weeks. I want to remind us that what I talked about last week when I said, the medical professionals that seek after mental health, we have to give them kudos. We have to give them kudos. But the biggest thing that I want this to be a takeaway from that when we are in trouble, we have to put that denial aside. Because I know myself personally, I was in denial. I was in denial for a lot of different reasons. I was in denial. But once I said, you know what, I have to admit that I have a problem so I could get help. So, I mean, kudos to those who are seeking help. It's not a weakness in seeking help. There is strength in it, and that strength is going to make you stronger. So, that's that on last week. Now, it's week three. It's week three, and you all are. But before we get into what you know about me, I want to try something new. I am learning this new StreamYard, and I want to add the StreamYard link on the chat. And in order for me to do that, I have to go on Facebook to do that. So I am gonna walk and chew gum. I'm gonna try to walk and chew gum here and go on Facebook and put the link on Facebook and see if that would be there. So right now I don't see my live. So let's see, let's reboot. Let's do this and let's do this and paste and send. So now go back to StreamYard, close that, close this, and go back. So I'm back. I'm back. So I do believe that the link is on there. However, for someone is watching, I would appreciate it very much if you say, hey, guess what? It's the streamline is on there. So, okay, it's there. Is anyone to say it's there? Well, I put it, so I don't know if it's there or not. But anyway, let's go on to week three about getting to know Herbie. It's going to be fun. Okay, the first thing, I love board games. Myself and my dad, we played Scrabble like crazy. I love it. When I came to America, I bought my first Scrabble game. And then a couple years ago, I saw it said Scrabble Deluxe. And I looked at it and I said, Scrabble Deluxe. And I says, wow. And this one, my dad would have loved it. If my dad was here playing this game with me, he would have loved it because it had a carousel that it will turn to the component to play. And the tile had a space. You put the tile in, that the tile wasn't going chaka 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 anymore. So that's my favorite game, Scrabble word game. The second thing about me, you hear it right now, that airplane. I hear it. I don't like to fly. I know if anyone remembers the A team, when BA had had to get on that plane. They had to drug him. I'm not that bad. Okay, I'm not that bad. You don't have to drug me. You don't have to drug me. You don't have to drag me. Is when I get up there, I am like, oh my God, when is this gonna land? When is this gonna land? And when I did my long 20 hours in the air, it felt like forever. It's like, oh my God, is this gonna land anytime soon? Sleep, go to sleep. So that's the second thing about me. I rather be on the ground than to fly. The third thing about me is I'm a collector. I am a collector. I have not collected in years because of my living arrangement. But once that is changed, I will get back into my being collector. I don't know if you could see it. Okay, so I'm going to show you four. I'm going to share four with you. I'm a collector of dolphins. I am a collector of dolphins, small dolphins, crystal dolphins, snowball dolphins. And my favorite is I got this one in Korea. And what I love about this one is at night, there'll be a light on the hair, and I'm just looking at the light change colors and like a dolphin swimming. So that's the three things about me. That's the three things about getting to know Hermie. Okay, so we got my favorite game is Scrabble. I rather drive than fly, and I'm a collector of dolphins. So that's the three biggies about me. All righty. Whew. Suicide. You know, like I said, when I chose this topic for suicide, it's not something that people like talking about. It's like there's a taboo to it, there is something to it, but it needs to be talked about because we need to prevent it as many as we can. We need to prevent them. So, suicide, as we know, it's one taking their own life with the intent to die. That is their goal. Their goal is that they want to die. So, by any means, they're going to try to kill themselves. So, that's suicide. Cause of death in America 10. Imagine that there's 9 before the hell people die, but it's a 10th and how people die. And it's like, oh, suicide. It's going to be a tough 30 minutes for me with this topic, but I'm going to get through it. I will get through it because it has to be done. It has to be said. It has to get a light on. Like I says, look at back my background. Protect my big head is blocking yourself, but it's protect yourself. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Those who are higher risk for committing suicide are the ones that are abused, sexually, emotionally, psychologically. They just abuse. The bullying. My son, because peer pressure is a mother of all mothers with peer pressure. When my son was in school, he would say the friends knew not to ask him to do something that they know he wouldn't do because of his character. Because of his character, they knew peer pressure won't even come at him with that because you know not to ask. You just know. We know Laurent. We know Ron. We're not going to even ask him. He no. So peer pressure is you have to have some kind of good strength to say, you know what, I'm not gonna let you pressure me into doing something that I don't want to do. And then when you say it, when you think about it, it's like, wow, how can I fit in? Then you want to fit in. Then when we go to the next kind of risk, the mental health, you know, mental health disorders, the stage that they are in, that they feel that they cannot come back from it. So they got to make that permanent end to a problem that could have been solved. When Jesus sat at that table and he said that one is going to betray him, And no, you said no, not me, not me, not me. I would never do that. I would never do that. But in turn, Judas did betray him. Judas felt so out of sorts that he could not get back from that. He committed suicide. So the suicide is a decision that cannot be undone if it's really went through. Substance abuse. Sometimes a lot of people that takes the drug, they don't mean to kill themselves sometimes it's just like you always hear, an accidental overdose, or they didn't mean to do it, so it was an accidental overdose. But when you're abusing something, you there is an end that you may not know what is going to happen. So then they got to have that mindfulness to say, you know what, when do I say enough is enough of that drug? When do I say don't mix that one with that one? When do I say, you know what do I want to see tomorrow if God give me the next day? Physical disorder. Physical disorder is a tough one, especially with the young ones. You know, with the young ones that, especially a girl that is a little bit overweight and she want to fit in with the group, but they won't let her in because of her size. Loss of a job. If we have some people that's really all about the career, the career, the career, and they lose that career, and now they have to resort to do something that they would not normally do. For instance, these have a guy that make a six figure, and he lost that six figure, and now he has to go be a janitor. He's gonna say, I can't go be a janitor. I can't do that. I have to take care of a family. I cannot do that. Right here in South Florida, right here in South Florida, the man, it was a murder suicide because he killed the family and the pets and himself because he could not get a job that he was accustomed to, that he was used to. That money is money regardless of what you do. Money is money. Bills got to get paid. Next kind that commits suicide is the one in the relationship, the one that put all in the relationship, and then oops, the other party says, this not working for me, time to end it. So that person will say, well, if you don't want me, who else gonna want me? You don't want me. So who else can I go to that will want me? So I guess I have to avoid it. And the last person I want to talk about is the one that is a breadwinner, the one that is the family support group, and that person dies. Then the person said, well, okay, who was the glue to the family is gone. Our glue is gone. So now what do we do? We're gonna go that route. Okay, the young teenagers nowadays. I'm not blaming social media. I am nowhere blaming social media at all because all of us make choices. We make a choice. We make a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice when it comes to social media. I have two granddaughters. One is 3 and one is going to be 5 in March. They know what the YouTube app look like. That little finger know that's YouTube. I'm gonna touch it. That's YouTube. So there's so much things now on social media that teaching our children so much stuff that when I did this research and I saw the age that committed suicide, I just cringed. I just cringed. And I said, you know what? It's because of the technology we are in today. Because everything is right there for them to get it, right at their little fingertips. So, like I said, I'm not blaming social media. It's just how we use social media to grow. We use social media to learn something. I had to fix something one day at YouTube. YouTube. So it's how we use this technology here. So now we have the young teenagers who are the sexual orientation. They don't know if they're bisexual, gay, or lesbian. And then let's say they come out and said, you know what, mom and dad, this is what's going on with me. And the parents cannot deal with it. So now the child is in their mind saying, no, well, if my own parents that brought me into this world cannot accept what I'm telling them, how is the world going to accept me? So what do I lean on? Okay, I guess the world don't want me, so I'm just going to go do that thing. You know, the people that commit suicide, we tend to see what they're going through. You know, we tend to see it, but sometimes we get blind to it. Because I know me personally, somebody sitting around and they're talking about killing themselves. First thing I want to say, are you going to write a book or something? You're trying to write a play? You're trying to, what are you trying to do? You know, it wouldn't dawn on me that the person is trying to kill themselves. So it's like, wow, you're talking about killing yourself? Really? So we got to pay attention to those. We got to pay attention to the ones that like to give away all the good valuables just like that. Just, you know what? I don't want this anymore. Something that I love so bad, like me and my dolphins. If you see me giving my dolphins away, something's up. Okay. If I say you could have this one, some because I don't even like when one break because one broke one time. I cried for the whole day. So giving away the valuables, feeling hopeless, useless, purposeless. You know, a person who was always calm, collected, and just blasé, yes, yes. But all of a sudden, it's like a drop of a hat. They just go off on you like that. It's like their mood swing just, we got to pay attention to that. We have to pay attention to the one that isolate. I said before, but isolate and isolate. Well, this isolate is not an isolate where they want to go learn about themselves to grow. No, this isolate to go plan and plot what they're going to do to get out of this world. You know, that's what that isolation is. They just want to be by themselves. They no longer go outgoing person. They just want to be in that little hole right there, just planning, plotting how to end everything. To say, you know what, this world don't want me. What do I want with this world? This person don't want me. What do I want with this world? So those are the signs that we have to look for when we are communicating that. Okay. Yes, we had a mild technical break. So we have to make sure that we pay attention to what's going on. Now, um, when it comes to methods of suicide, you know, death by gunfire, you know, wow. I know this was a TV show, but what they were trying to do was advertise the car. You know, I know that car company paid, I'm not going to say the car on here, but I know that car company paid a lot for that to be in that show. She was trapped, you know, and that's when you're trapped, when she could not go tell somebody what happened to her because the person who did it to her said, if you tell anybody, nobody's going to believe you and they're going to believe me. I am a congressman and look at you, you're just an aide, so who's going to believe you? So she was trapped. So now she got in her car, like I said, that car stopped when she tried to hit the wall because that was her way of committing suicide. Her way to get in her car and just drive and hit the wall, and that was it. But as soon as the car got a certain feet from the wall, the car just stopped, and she just looked like, "What just happened?" So I know that particular brand car paid a lot for that ad, so they could sell that car because that car would save lives. So that's what the whole point was with that commercial, to save lives. Poisoning. To drink poison, especially for antifreeze and what it does to the body, you know, it's like, oh, that's a method. Hanging, slicing up the wrist, taking pills. You know, when we sit in the corner in that isolation person and they're trying to figure, well, how am I going to do it? You know, how am I going to do it? I wonder in that thought process, did it ever add in there, you know, what if I don't succeed? You know, here I am planning my suicide, but what if it don't happen? What if I survive my suicidal attempt? Well, if I succeed in the suicide, we are leaving behind family to mourn and to be depressed and to be in anguish and to be in anger and to wonder, well, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong for that thing? And then that big why is going to be right there in the center of it all. And we're going to allow that why to pull us down. I say, me personally, I will be in the why for a moment, wondering why did they do it. And then I have to tell myself, well, they made that choice. They made that choice. So now I have to make a choice. I have to make a choice to accept their choice and move on and not let that why handicap me from going on. Because if I sit in that why every day I wake up in the morning, well, why did they have to leave me? Why? Then I wouldn't have to do what I have to do. I wouldn't because I'm stuck. I'm stuck in that why. So just give the why that you know what why? I'm making a choice today. I'm making a choice to know my friend, my family member chose that. And I just have to say, you know what, accept that, accept their choice, and just move on. Just move on. Now, if the person who attempted suicide and the suicide was unsuccessful, then wow. What if they become a vegetable? What if they have to have somebody take care of them every day? Now, what is going in that person's mind? The research says that someone who committed suicide and they didn't succeed, they are plotting again how to do it. That's what they're doing, trying to figure out what way I'm going to get better at it so I could be successful. When we have to live in a life that a family member or a friend committed suicide, we have to know that it's more than okay to forgive them. It is more than okay to say, you know what, forgive that thing that they did. Forgive it and just live. Prevention of suicide. It goes back to being that connected friend. It goes back to trying to create that environment, that safe environment, that environment that you don't want to, that toxic environment where you come in, you just feel it all coming at you. So when you see someone that is leaning to that route, you have to create that environment that they feel safe, that they want to be able to talk with you. You see this tongue right here? This tongue, it could build you and it could break you. And when dealing with someone who is in a suicidal state, we have to know how to use this tongue. If you don't know how to use your tongue, just say, I'm here for you. Ask them what they need. What do you need? What do you want? Because the wrong thing out of that mouth can escalate into something else. Teaching coping skills, everybody have a different way to cope things. Everybody has their way of coping. You just got to respect people's ways of how they want to cope. If the coping skills is not conducive to success, then we know we got to say something. But if the coping skill is something that's positive and it's working for them, hey, go with it. But it's very important to keep a person calm when they are in a suicidal state. If you just hold their hand, squeeze, hey, squeeze, what do you feel? Hey, squeeze, 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 harder, harder, squeeze, what do you feel? What do you feel? Distraction. We have to find what ways that work for you personally to help them. Because bottom line is that it's like you are that first line of contact. So you being that first line of contact, you just have to do your best. And like I said, this technology here, this little smartphone that we got, we just got to know how to use it so we could help others. We just got to know. Wow. I did not think that I was going to survive talking about suicide how I did. And I'm glad I survived it. I survived it. I survived it. I survived it. Now, in closing, while I was in the military, I had the opportunity to have a duty called staff duty. It's just big name for being a babysitter. But that night I had duty. And one of the soldiers was having his 21st birthday. And in the military, the drinking is, and you underage drinking, the penalty is severe. The penalty is very severe if you are caught drinking, very severe. So at age 21, they gave him a party to celebrate. And I got there and I looked at him and I said, "You 21, really?" I said, "You ain't 21. Oh, no." He said, "Yes, I'm Bill. Yes, I am." I said, "No, you're not. Let me see your ID card." So I looked at his ID card and I said, "Oh my God, and today is your birthday too. Wow, happy birthday." And he was drinking. And he was drinking. So I said, I'll be back. I'll be back because you just drinking too much. You're just drinking way too much. So I got back about an hour later and they said, "Well, he's mad. He went in his room." I said, "Well, who is there with him?" "No one." I said, "Well, for how much he was drinking, somebody can be in there by himself. The amount he was drinking." So I knock, 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 nothing. I knock, 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 nothing. I said, "Something is wrong." His roommate, nowhere to be found. I says, "We have got to get in that room. We have got to get in that room." And then it was not what I expected. I expected him to be passed out in his bed from being drunk. But instead, he was hanging from the ceiling. And I was just like, wow. But in the military, we had the suicide training. And as time goes on, they will change the acronym. When I left, the acronym was ACE. When I left. When I left the military, we was using this acronym ACE. ACE. Axe. Are you trying to kill yourself? Do you want to die? The why does not matter. Asking them why will just compound the problem, because I'm speaking from my personal experience to say, if it's me and you come asking me why, don't ask that why. Just ask what you're doing, what you're trying to do. The C, give them care. And if anything, again, that is around that you could see that they could use as a weapon right there and there, remove it. E, escort, because we need professionals. I'm not a professional. I've just, like I said, I've just empathized and I talk about what I empathize, and that's what I talk about. But we need to escort them to someone that knows how to deal with someone who is trying to kill themselves. That's what we have to do. We have to escort. So the military says, Ace, you got an ace. You got an ace. Okay, you know, in the deck, ace, ace trump everything. So I appreciate you letting me into your homes today. I know talking about suicide is not something that we like to talk about, but it's real. You know, mental health is real. You can see somebody's expression, their mood swing, that what they're going through. So just help someone. Just be that hand to just help someone. I thank you, Facebook family, for being here today, and I will see you next week. Next week will either be on love with my guests or it will be the human body. God bless. Peace.